Hi guys, I'm back here with our chapter book, Amina's Voice. We are about two-thirds the way through our book now. Today I'm going to be reading chapters 17 and 18. Here we go. Isn't it taking forever for Mrs. Barton to get our work back to us? We took that unit test more than 2 weeks ago, Emily complains during lunch. She's sitting across from me, rummaging through her reusable green lunch bag. My dad noticed that our grades are getting posted online much later than usual, Eugene agrees. But forget about that. Guess what tomorrow is? What? Emily and I ask in unison. Our swearing-in ceremony. Remember I told you guys it was October 20th? Can't believe it's already here. I'm going to miss school, and this is the last day you'll be seeing me as Eugene. That's so exciting, Susan. Emily gushes with a little giggle as she utters Eugene's future name. Isn't it, Amina? Yeah, that's really great. I completely fake as I try to match Emily's enthusiasm. But I just can't call Eugene Susan yet. I hate that idea too much. My mom is so psyched about the party she's throwing to celebrate. Eugene describes the heaps of red, white, and blue decorations her mother has been collecting since Independence Day. My aunt always brings this cake for our 4th of July barbecue where she puts strawberries and blueberries on whipped cream to make an American flag. Emily says, You should totally make that. Good idea, and you guys are both invited. Let's celebrate right now. Emily pulls out a bag of her mother's peanut butter cookies. Have some, Amina, she offers, pushing them toward me. I know you like these. Thanks, I say. I take one, touched that she remembered. Hey, Emily! A loud voice calls out from the other end of the lunchroom. It's Luke, wearing an ugly sneer. What? Emily turns her head toward him nervously. Want to come over here and sit next to your lover boy? Luke laughs and throws a potato chip at Justin, who's sitting across from him. Justin surveys the room, catches a glimpse of Emily, and then looks away. His ears turn cherry red. You're so weird, Emily coolly flips her head around and turns her attention to her bagel as if nothing out of the ordinary has happened. What did that little twerp do? I scan the crowd for Bradley, who is slouched in his seat at the table to my left. His eyes widen as they meet mine, and he ducks his head. Sheepishly, he mouths the word oops to me. My heart thrashes wildly in my chest. How quickly will Emily trace the leak back to me? Your boo is right here waiting for you, Emily, Luke jeers as the boys around him laugh like hyenas. Kyle purses his freckled face and makes loud kissing noises. No, I'm not, Justin yelps as Kyle tousles his hair. I'm not, he repeats, his voice now rough with anger. He stands up, brushing everyone off him, and moves to the other end of the table where he sits and fumes. Emily acts like she hasn't heard a thing, but I can see her flinch ever so slightly at Justin's words, and her face turns a shade pinker. Hearing all of the commotion, Mrs. Greenwich, the lunchroom attendant, comes over to hush the tables. What's going on here? If you don't settle down, I'm going to separate you, she threatens. How did Luke find out? Eugene whispers to Emily as everyone quickly quiets. Who else did you tell about Justin? Emily shakes her head slightly, still staring at her sandwich. She blinks hard, trying not to cry. The next few minutes drag on in a tense silence. I pretend to nibble on my cookie for as long as possible, but the peanut butter tastes like dirt. Afraid to look at Emily, I walk slowly over to the trash can to throw the rest of it away, along with my napkin and milk carton. There, I take a few deep breaths and steel myself for whatever will happen next. We're dismissed for the last 10 minutes of lunch, and I walk out to the courtyard with Eugene and Emily, with feet as heavy as lead. Luke runs by us with a smirk, while Emily holds her head high and refuses to look in his direction. But as soon as we are on the other side of the building, hidden from view, she spins around to face me. How could you? Emily demands. Her green eyes are ablaze with a mixture of hurt and fury. I trusted you, and now look what happened. I gulp and start to pour out the heartfelt apology I know I owe her. Listen, Hold on, Eugene opens her hand. You can't just go and accuse Amina like that. I already told you can trust her with anything. I shut my mouth and stand there like an idiot, looking back and forth at Emily, seething with anger, and Sujin, whose unshakable faith in me makes me feel like the most horrible person in the world. But I didn't tell anyone else but you guys, and you didn't say anything, did you? Emily asks Sujin. No, of course not. Sujin sounds indignant. Emily starts to cry, and large, salty tears flow down her cheeks. I'm so embarrassed I could die, she howls. I'm sorry, Amina, but I don't know how they found out, and I just assumed it was you. What about Julie? Sujin asks. You think she said anything to anyone? I never told Julie. I don't even really talk to her anymore, Emily wails. I can't trust her like I do you guys. A massive wave of guilt almost knocks me over as I realize Emily really does consider us friends, both Sujin and me. My mind starts to race. Even though Emily followed Julie around and acted like her chamchi for all those years, it doesn't count for anything more. They aren't even close, and it looks like they barely hang out. Maybe Emily just got smarter and realized she wants new friends in middle school. Real friends like Sujin and me. But wait, am I even a real friend? Not only did I tell Emily's secret and watch her be humiliated in front of the entire grade without doing anything to help, now I was actually letting her apologize to me. Then how do you think Luke found out? Sujin presses. I don't know. Maybe someone heard us talking about it. What do you think, Amina? I don't remember anyone being around when we were talking, do you? Sujin peers directly into my eyes. Well, not exactly, I hear myself saying in a tiny voice. I pause, trying to swallow the sawdust in my throat as something inside me pushes me to go on. But maybe somehow, someone by accident, someone might have heard me talking to Bradley. Wait, what? Bradley? What were you talking to Bradley about? Sujin asks. He was saying that he thought Emily was pretty or something, I start to explain. Ew, Emily moans between sobs. I know, right? And so I was trying to tell him that he didn't have a chance. And, Sujin pushes me to go on, and I kind of ended up saying that Emily liked Justin. I didn't mean to, honest, it just came out of my mouth. Even though it's true, I can't believe the words I'm saying. How could you do that? Sujin explodes. She stretches out her arms in exasperation and then clamps them over her head. I can't believe you, Amina. What the heck were you thinking? I'm as still as a statue. Sujin has never yelled at me before. Hey, how could you? Emily repeats. I would never do that to you. Her face twists with anger. I know, I'm really, really sorry. I hang my head. Now what am I supposed to do? Emily starts crying again. Nothing. You don't have to do anything. Sujin puts a protective arm around Emily, and then she turns her back on me. What do you mean? Emily whimpers. You were totally cool at lunch, and no one knows if anything Luke said is true or not. Just ignore everyone like you did and act like it was all a big lie. I'll try, but now I know. Justin doesn't like me. Emily wilts even further. You don't know that, Sujin strokes Emily's back. Maybe he was just embarrassed. Who would want to admit anything in front of those jerks? Yeah, maybe now he'll even realize that he does like you, I add. I inch toward them with a hopeful expression. Or maybe he'll never talk to me again, Emily retorts harshly. Sujin whips her head around and gives me a look that warns me to step back. So I step back. Sujin is really angry, and she has a right to be. I watch as she continues to comfort Emily, feeling unwelcome, but unsure whether it would look worse if I just walked away. So I stand there awkwardly until the bell rings to signal the end of lunch, and fidget with the straps on my bag. The whole time, Sujin doesn't turn around to look at me. But as the bell rings, with her encouragement, Emily dries her tears, takes deep breaths, and prepares to walk back into the school as if nothing happened. Now I feel like crying, but I don't let myself. Sujin, listen, I try to say as my best friend just walks right by me. After a few steps, Sujin stops and turns around. I don't want to talk to you right now. She sounds more sad than angry. And then she continues walking, leaving me there. I eventually trail behind them toward the doors to the school and turn in the opposite direction to go to my locker. My insides are churning, and I want to throw up. Instead of going to class, I decide to go to the nurse's office and lie down until it is time to go home. Even though I know it's cowardly, I can't bear to face Eugene or Emily again. Chapter 18. Amina, where are you? Mama calls from the kitchen. I need your help. In here, I reply from where I'm sitting at the dining room table and give my uncle a weak smile. I'm practicing with John. Okay, but when you're done, I need you to set the plates out for me. And where in the world have your father and brother gone? Baba has a way of disappearing for hours whenever Mama throws a dinner party. He usually finds some kind of urgent business to take him to the electronics or hardware store, like a missing speaker wire or special kind of light bulb that needs replacing. This Saturday morning, he's taken Mustafa with him, while Mama prepares for the dinner party they are holding in honor of Dayajan's visit. She's already done a lot of cooking over the past few nights, and the kitchen counters are covered with piles of onions, garlic bulbs, and chili peppers, along with jars of spices and gleaming serving dishes. We are almost finished, Dayajan volunteers. Let's review this surah one more time. I read through the page, paying extra attention to the flow and rhythm of the verses. The repetition of sounds in this particular passage, a surah called Humaza, makes it easy to memorize. Very good, Dayajan says. You are improving. What does it mean? The rhymes sound so pretty. I'm sure the meaning is too. This surah is a harsh warning from Allah to those who do backbiting of their brothers. God tells us that nothing, not even all of a person's wealth, will save them from his wrath. Backbiting? I don't know this word. Even though Dayajan is speaking English for a change, it isn't helping much. When you speak ill of people behind their backs or say things about them that you should not, Dayajan explains. A shiver runs down my spine. Shall we review it one last time? I shake my head, too upset to speak. Is there a special punishment for me? Dayajan keeps going. This surah is just a reminder for all of us to watch what we say and not to be arrogant. But what if you did it by accident? What if you didn't know what you were saying? I'm ashamed to say the words. I don't understand. How do you say something by accident? Mama walks out of the kitchen and stops when she sees my face. What happened? She asked Dayajan. Nothing. I just told her the meaning of the surah. It's my fault, Mama. I did a really mean thing to Emily, and I'm a backbiter, and I'm going to be punished, I trail off. Hold on now. Come with me. Mama drags me away by the hand and flashes Dayajan a warning look as we go up the stairs. When we get to her room, Mama sits on the bed next to her. Okay, tell me what happened. Did Dayajan say something again? I pour out the entire story about Emily and Sujin, starting with the school project and ending with what happened in the lunchroom. Mama listens intently, interrupting a few times to ask questions or to slow me down. So did you tell Emily's secret on purpose to get back at her for becoming Sujin's friend? She asks finally. I think about it for a minute. No, I was just annoyed with Bradley. Did you want Bradley or the others to tease her? No. Well then, why did you tell him? It just popped out of my mouth, I promise. I just wasn't thinking. I know I don't like Emily. Well, I didn't like Emily before, and I guess I was kind of jealous of her becoming friends with Sujin. But I would never try to hurt her on purpose, and I'm starting to think that maybe she's not that bad. I actually think she might be pretty nice. I believe you. Mama brushes the hair out of my face and fixes the collar of my shirt, like she did when I was a little girl. You're not a mean person, Amina, and you never have been. You just made a mistake. Everyone does sometimes. Yeah, but what about what the surah says? What surah? Humaza. Mama laughs. Is that what got you so upset? It is a strong surah, but not describing you, silly girl. You weren't being evil or trying to spread rumors about Emily. No, I wasn't, I agree, feeling a little better. But what do I do now? Everyone's so mad at me. Just ask for forgiveness from God and from your friends. Mama is solemn as she gives me this simple advice. I did. I said sorry right away, but they were both still really angry at me. Sujin was furious. Mama shrugs. Well, it makes sense that they're upset with you. Wouldn't you feel the same way if somebody told one of your secrets? What happened when you saw them in school yesterday? Emily ignored me. I tried to say hi, but she acted like she didn't hear me. So then I wrote her a long note and left it in her cubby. Sujin wasn't in school because her family was at their ceremony to become citizens. Oh, did that happen already? That's wonderful. I'll have to congratulate them the next time I see them. Yeah. I don't mention the part about Sujin changing her name. Mama wouldn't be crazy about that idea. But I feel awful that Sujin's family is having this big moment after waiting for so long, and I'm not even talking to my best friend. That is, if Sujin even considers me her best friend anymore. Why don't you invite Sujin and her family to come to the carnival next week? Their church participated last year, right? That could be a nice gesture. Mama suggests. Besides, Imam Malik and Baba want it to be an interfaith event again. I don't know. I guess I'll see her at school on Monday. It makes me nervous to think about facing Sujin or Susan for the first time after our fight. And since my mother reminded me of the carnival, it means the Quran competition is fast approaching. Even though I feel a little better about the way my lessons with Dayajan are going, I certainly don't feel prepared enough to get up in front of hundreds of people to recite a surah. And now that I know what it means, there's no way I'm choosing the Surah Humazah. I wouldn't be able to get through it. Mama looks at me with sympathy. If Sujin is truly your best friend, she'll forgive you. You'll just have to wait and see. And you have to trust that just because she makes new friends doesn't mean she stops caring about you. Now, come downstairs and give me a hand. Everyone will be here in a couple hours. That's the end of chapter 18. Come back for chapter 19, 20. I'll see you next time.